Hi, welcome to the Poker Burrow channel. Today we're going to go over the basics of setting up your own home poker game featuring Texas Hold'em as the primary game. This video is definitely for novices. If you're an experienced rounder, you very well might want to skip this video. But if you're a true novice, then you're in the right place, because today you're going to learn about what you need to start playing, learn about what stakes to play for, learn how to set up your first game, and then we'll also discuss and go over the mechanics of your very first hand of play. Alright, so materials needed to play the game of poker. Obviously, you need a deck of playing cards. Chips are also handy, so you can keep track of how people are doing in the game. It's a method of keeping score, per se. A table or a clean playing surface. Obviously, you need players. 2 to 10 is possible, with an optimum number probably being in the neighborhood of 5 to 8 players. Having players with knowledge of the game is also helpful, but if you need to brush up on hand strength values, or determining what hand is winning when you actually show down against another player, well, then I recommend that you check out our other video, Poker Hand Strengths, as that is probably one of the more important things after having a deck of cards and players. you need to figure out what hand is going to beat what. So definitely check out that video if you don't understand what hands are better than others. Alright, so what is at stake in your game of poker? You can easily play for fake money or play money, but that's going to vastly reduce the strategic elements that are involved in the game. And once you get past a basic level of competency, playing for play or fake money is going to be very unattractive, but it is a place to start. You could play for low stakes, such as penny games, where the chip values start at a penny or maybe 10 cents. So that's a good starting point for novices to get involved in the game at a level where real sums of money or significant sums of money aren't really involved. But if you want to ramp things up, well, then that's when you're going to get into medium or higher stakes, where your chip valuations will typically start at $1 and go higher from there. Going further, you've got a couple different options of how to structure the game, whether it be a limit game, so limit poker. Pot limit poker is also an option, and then no limit poker. Traditionally, limit poker was the most dominant format, where bet sizes were preset at each stage of the hand. For example, a 3-6 game typically designated a game where a small bet was valued at $3 and a big bet was valued at $6. Pot limit poker ramps things up a little bit, where you can bet as much as the existing pot. For Texas Hold'em, this variation isn't that common. The predominant version these days is definitely the no limit poker variety, where you can make a bet for as much as you have, otherwise known as being all in. That is definitely the most popular format in today's game of poker. Alright, once you've determined what stakes to play for, you got to assign some values to the chips, and this is a recommended format that you can use for your game. And if you want to make it smaller, obviously you can change the denominations to cents. So a penny, a nickel, a dime, a quarter, and $1. Okay, here you are at your first poker game. You have your chips placed out in front, and you need to be aware that there are some rules in regards to how your chips are being displayed. Not such a big deal at a home game, but in a casino game, you will definitely be instructed to place your chips in a correct manner. That being the case, the rule basically is that your highest value chips need to be out in front or clearly visible to all other players at the table. So if you've got your highest value chips kind of hiding in the back, that is generally considered a no-no, and you'll need to move those chips out into clear view. Again, you can stack them on top of some other chips, or just simply place them out front, or if you have the space, just line them up side to side and you'll be good to go. Now when you are in the hand, you've got 3 different options in terms of what you can do. Those options are to fold your hand, or you can call whatever existing bet has been placed out in front of you. So in this, let's say that right now the bet is $5. You can choose to call the bet and continue on in the hand, or you can also opt to raise. Now you can throw out multiple chips to indicate the raise. Here we've got a bet for a raise of 30. You can verbally declare your bet size, or you can let the chips do the talking for you. Now you have to be careful because there is a 1 chip rule. If the bet currently, let's say, is $5 from another player, and you decide that you want to raise, let's say you want to raise to 25, if you do this, just put out that $25 chip, that is going to be considered a call. So you will only be matching the previous bet. And the reason is you did not verbally declare raise, and you only threw in 1 chip, commonly known as the 1 chip rule. So if you want to raise, make sure you declare verbally raise, or use more than 1 chip, and that will be a raise. Okay, so you have your game all set up. Everyone has got their chips out, and now you're ready to play your very first hand. 2 things you need to be aware of is that Texas Hold'em is played with blinds, both a small blind and a big blind. All that means is that you're going to have money in the pot before any cards are dealt out. Typically, you're going to have 1 small bet in the small blind and 2 bets for the big blind. Small blind is immediately to the left of the dealer. Big blind, 1 spot to the left of the small blind. The deal starts from the dealer spot, goes out first to the small blind, and is dealt out 1 card at a time. 2 cards total to each player, and voila, you are now ready to go to the next phase. So what you're going to do is take a look at your hand and make sure no one else can see it. Take a look at your cards and decide what you want to do. Now the action is going to start to the left of the big blind. So big blind here, action starts here. This is the spot considered or commonly known as being under the gun. So this player will decide if they're going to call the existing bet from the big blind. They can fold, or they can raise. Let's assume that they fold. Play then continues around. Everyone is going to make a decision on their hand, and we'll say that this person is going to go ahead and make a raise. And now this person will decide on continuing at that value, or raising, or folding, and the play will go back all the way around until there are no more raises, and everyone has had a chance to decide whether or not they're going to continue for whatever price is being presented to them. So for the sake of our example here, we will have all these players continue in the hand. And what then happens is that the dealer will burn 1 card, which means you're going to place 1 card face down, and then they will deal 3 cards out face up. That is the flop. You're going to use those 3 cards in combination with your own cards to make your best 5-card poker hand. Now there's still going to be 2 more cards to come. the turn card and the river card. But right now, this is the flop. The action is going to start to the left of the dealer, again on the small blind. They will have the opportunity to make the first move, and it'll then go around clockwise so that everyone has a chance to make a move. Once everyone has settled as to their action, we will move on to the turn and then the river. In our example here, we're going to assume that everybody was chicken. Nobody bet, so nobody was able to raise. So everybody checked around the table, which now takes us to the turn, where we again burn a card. Deal one more card face up. Play again starts here in the small blind. So let's take a look and see what they have. They have a king, pair of kings with the 7. Let's say that they're going to go ahead and make a bet. This player now is going to evaluate their hand. Realistically, it's not looking very good for you. Most likely you will fold here. Play will come around. Now this player here has a possibility of making a straight if a jack comes up on the board. So this is where math comes into play. You can figure out what the pot odds or the chances of having a jack come up. There's 4 jacks in the deck. 52 cards out there, and I'm going to let you try to figure out what the math is on that. But for the price that's out there, it very well may be worth to play on. And since we're playing in a home game, sure, why not? Now over here we've got top pair with a very low kicker. Again, make the call. As they say, the pot is good. One more burned card. One more card up, the river. And now, those 5 cards and your 2 cards in front of you, you're going to combine them all to pick your best 5 cards to make your poker hand against the other players. And again, betting will open here in the small blind, or whoever is first to act to the left of the dealer. They're going to conservatively check. This person has nothing. They check. You, with top pair but a low kicker, may decide to continue, make a bet, say $1.05 in this scenario. Now here we actually overlooked that we made 2 pairs, kings and 7s. But in any case, you can see how the betting action and the play goes around the table, and ultimately to determine a winner, you're going to display your cards and see whose hand is best. Congratulations.